everybody to another She's a Changemaker interview. I'm Anne-Sophie, the founder of the She's a Changemaker community, where I talk to female entrepreneurs who are here to be the change that they want to see in their own world, doing work that spreads love and changes a shit ton of lives while they make some good profits too. So I've got the best person to talk about this today, and she is such a gift to the world. And everything she does is not only inspiring and motivational and life-changing, it's fun. And so we're going to talk about all of that today. So Jeanna Gabellini, she's a master business coach, and she supports conscious entrepreneurs and helps them to double and even sometimes triple, or probably more, I'm guessing, their profits by leveraging attraction principles, proven strategies, and fun. So welcome, Jeanna. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, so happy to be here. I'm in the no makeup. I'm in the launch zone. I'm in the working mom thing here. So I'm all natural.
Yeah, you've got one son, two.
I got two.
Two who keep you on your toes. And just for people who think that you can't be a mom and a super successful business owner, Jeanna is the proof that you can. You just got to get your shit together. So I want to ask you to start so that people can get to know you a bit about your story. And I'd love to know if you can take us back to the moment when you knew you were just not building the right dream. It was just the wrong version of your life and you needed to change something. What was that? What happened? What shifted?
Well, there's been lots of moments like that. But the first one that popped into my brain when you asked was way in the olden days. I think I was about 3 years into my coaching practice. And oh my gosh, I have so many clients right now. I can't keep track of what I told each person. And I would ask them, did I already tell you this? This is not good. I got too many clients. And it wasn't even that much. But I thought, man, what am I going to do? And so I started thinking about the dream that I had back in coaches training. And that coaches training dream was, I just want 10 clients. I want to work with them deeply and intimately. I'm going to charge $1,000 a month. And it was totally different than what I'd been doing. And I was like, let me coach you for a half hour. Okay, hang up. Next client calls. No, half hour. Okay, click. And it was like that. It was just too much.
So how many clients was too many at that point for you?
I only had 16, but I was also teaching teleclasses. I was, teaching live workshops. It was just, I couldn't work on the business. My head was like, cuckoo.
Yeah. And rather than having that deep, intimate version of coaching, it's like take a number experience, which is...
Well, it felt like that on my side. They thought they were getting a great experience, but I also felt like, well, what if they say something incredibly important at minute number 29, and then I gotta hang up? And that's what would always happen. They're like, oh, and by the way, why didn't you say this in the beginning of the call?
So how did you, what did you have to let go of? Did you have to outlaw some beliefs, some thoughts, some habits and actions? What did you have to completely say, screw this, it's not working, and bring in?
I was super scared. I was only charging $350 a month at that point. And my mind said, who's going to pay $1,000 a month? Now, these days, lots of people charge that. But I started my practice 20 years ago. And back then, I was already kind of expensive. Yeah. And all my peers were like, you can't charge $1,000 a month for life coaching. I'm like, yes, I am. You just watch. So it took me a while. I got to say, it probably took me a month. I mean, I worked on it every day, saying it's $1,000 a month, and it was just such a big jump. So I said, okay, I'm going to tell the next person who calls for coaching, a potential client, $500 a month, and then I'm going to tell them, if they say yes, the next person I'll take $600, and I was just going to baby step it. Well, then the first person said yes, and it was easy, and I said $500. The next client, it's $1,000, and it's been it was fine after that, but I was like, man, I'm so nervous. Yeah. I remember I was on the phone and I'm like, yes, it's $1,000 a month, closing my eyes, so scared. What are they going to say? And just, it's funny now, but.
It's funny now. Yeah. So you basically had to do some big mindset shifts too, in terms of don't listen to the naysayers and what other people were telling you to do, and start to make up your own rules at this point, right?
Yeah, not paying attention to what the competition is charging because the people who had taught me coaching weren't charging that much. So look, everybody thought, no, who's going to pay you for that? You can only get that in corporate world. Like if you go coach teams, I'm like, well, I coach teams and they're paying more than that. And why should I charge different whether based on who's buying?
Yeah.
Like this is my fee. I don't care if you're corporate or you're a broke mom. Yeah. This is my fee.
Yeah. So I love, like, you stopped apologizing for the results you were offering and your value, and started to make up your own rules in marketing too. So let's talk a little bit about marketing and marketing gurus and what you think about marketing. And let's just love to hear, maybe you rant a little bit, get feisty Jeanna here on the line.
Well, I think that marketing is awesome. I love marketing, but I don't like having to perform. I don't like having to get things perfect. I don't like boring stuff. It's like, okay, I love marketing, but I don't feel like I fit into a mold. Like molds are uncomfortable for me, and I'm not like a detail-y person. So, yeah. It's like I think when it comes to marketing gurus, you have to ask yourself, first of all, is my personality suited to that? Because, like, for me, video, I'm not polished. When I speak, I just shot tons of video for my launch, and it was professionally produced and all that. But I had it on the other day. I was reviewing something, and I didn't have the sound on. And I'm watching me, and I'm like, I was laughing. I'm like, my hands are like this. I'm talking to, it's like an Italian girl, and I'm talking to the family. And my video person even said, Jeanna, you got to stop. Like, your arms are going outside of the frame. Can you, like, ring them in? And I said, okay, I'll try. It's hard.
Yeah. But
it's like, I didn't do video for years, and I freaked out about doing video because I thought, I'm not polished. I'm so, people are going to go, she's not professional. Yeah. She's not a polished speaker. And I finally realized, well, that's probably why they like me.
Yeah. And
I'm keeping it real.
And you are very real. Like when I first met you in person and then met you, this is our second interview that we're doing. Like, you just are who you are. And so when people choose to work with you, you know what you're getting. It's like, I'm getting Jeanna, which is good. And so, like, when you say, you love marketing, you love the kind of marketing that is authentic, where people are just showing up and they're being real and they're being themselves. And, you also believe that, from what I know, that formulas are not the answers, blueprints are not the answers, which can feel a little like scary for some people, because it's like, but just tell me what to do. So how do you teach this aspect? And by the way, like, I recently taught a webinar where I said, fuck formulas. Like, that was part of it too. So, like, I'm in it on this, but I'd love to hear the way that you negotiate that with clients and people who get to know you.
Yeah, so I think there is a structure that usually works really well. And then what you do within the structure is like full permission. And there's lots of ways to shift around the structure, right? So, like, for instance, Jeff Walker teaches how to do product launch formula. It's like, here's how you do a launch. I'm assuming most people that buy it probably either don't do it because they're so overwhelmed, or, they're so into trying to get it right that they don't have a good time, and maybe it doesn't convert the way they wanted.
Right.
And product launch formula is awesome, but it's not for everybody, especially if you're going to, there's lots of different ways to do it, and you can pick and choose the pieces that serve you. It won't be product launch formula, but it'll be your own version, but you still have to test it, and there's still some things that really work in marketing, but I think we need to give ourselves full permission to change things up and bring your branding into it. And I don't mean like by sticking your beautiful branding graphics. I mean, like, bringing what your style is of delivery to that. Like, I'm totally goofy in my videos for my launch. I'm totally goofy, but there's tons of content, and I'm talking about a hardcore topic, which is money, and what do you do when you're broke, or you've hit your profit set point and you can't make any more, and here's what you do to get a cash infusion. Like, money's a scary topic.
Yeah.
But if I don't make it easy and I don't show up wacky and goofy and fun, people are going to stay uptight about money. It's not on brand for me to be serious. That's just not, like, I'm not Susie Orman that says, If you don't do it this way, you're not going to have retirement funds and you're going to be broke. And I'm not about the feel bad. I'm all about, well, what can we do to make it right?
Yeah.
How can we make it this easy?
Yeah. And how can you make it easy is it's just a question that opens up possibilities. It's like you saying, well, how can I charge $1,000 a month and make it easy for me? It's like, well, I'm going to practice saying that and do it bit by bit and just do it. So do you want to talk about some of the golden nuggets that you've had coming up as you've been shooting these videos around money and getting past your set points, or anything that really has felt like a new juicy nugget for you that's really coming to light as being super true and needing to highlight this year?
Oh, well, first let's just talk about video.
All right, let's talk about video.
Just video in general. Video to me, when I talked about feeling like video's not my thing and getting, I freaking hated video. Like, hate, stress out. I love everything about doing a big launch. The video scared the bejesus out of me. And so every year I put zero thought. This is not a heart. This is zero. Definitely a heart with a cross between it. Don't like video. I would get so nervous. I wouldn't put any thought into it. I would wing it. And I still did 6-figure launches, but I never I was so nervous and stressed. I put no thought into it. I didn't ask, what's going to be in service of the people watching? Like, is this video going to really serve them? And is it going to serve me later? Is it going to lead to a sale? No, I was just like, get this over with. I'm going to have a cocktail when this is done. I'm stressed out. Like, I just hated it. And so everybody kept telling me, well, why don't you get a teleprompter? Because what I was most afraid of was I talk a lot, right? So I was afraid of going off on tangents. And I thought, no, because I don't want to sound like I'm reading. And then all my authenticity will go out the window. And I won't be goofy because I'll be reading a script.
Yeah.
And I said, let me just try it. I'm making up all these stories, suffering the last 3 years, doing videos I don't like. It's the only thing I don't like about launching. Let's go get some support. So I hired a team. Oh my gosh. Hiring a company that is so aligned with what you're doing. And they were like, let's set our intentions. Let's say a prayer. Let's get grounded. They were like super woo-woo. And I'm like, oh my God, I got this. And, teleprompter, it's just about practicing. And I realized if you make up that it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard. And I'm like, I read my webinars. I'm on a script for my webinar, and I don't feel like I'm reading. I'm the one that wrote it. It's my words. Why would I feel scared to do the video?
Yeah.
It's the same difference. And now I'm like, I don't mind video at all. Let's go do more videos. Listen, I can do videos. Yeah.
So it's like you had an upper level limit that you'd hit in what you thought was possible for getting yourself out there and visible in video. But whereas now, like, even we got on this call, we hadn't talked whether we're doing video or not. You're like, want to do video? Let's do video. I'm like, it's okay. It's really up to you. I'm like, no, let's do video. I'm like, okay. So you were just like way more willing to just jump in. So you did your own mindset work of reframing that story of it's, it doesn't have to be hard. It can be easy. How can it be fun? And bringing in that team really helped.
Getting the support, because I find that every time I make up that something's hard, like I said, I would never do a launch. I said, I see these people doing them. They're like stress cases. I am not doing a launch.
So what is your heartful definition of a launch now?
A launch is a specific marketing campaign with a start date and a finish date, where you're having a flood of people come in and you're taking them through a series of free things, and then however you end up doing it, but it's for a very specific amount of time, the traffic. So it's not open-ended. It's not an evergreen offer. It's like, hey, this is just a short window of time. We've got 2 weeks. We're going to, just share just tons and tons and tons of free stuff. And when the doors close, the doors close. Yeah. And then we start our program the next week.
Yeah. So it's like a super structured way of putting some boundaries and sharing your best stuff really with a ton more of people, but doing it the fun way. In your case, fun is a huge important part of it, and you've always been like this. Like, I remember first meeting you at this joint venture conference, and you had all these tattoos that you had brought, right? These temporary tattoos. So it's always about fun. So maybe can you talk to us a little bit about that intersection of fun and money and giving, and how it factors into really building a bigger version of your success? And maybe was there a moment for you in your business where you said you wanted maybe that cash infusion and you injected more fun? Like, can you give us a few examples of how that's playing out for you?
Yeah, so I'll start with like the launching, because launching was something I thought was incredibly hard. I didn't want to do because I watched other people doing it. I said, no way, I'm not doing it. And then I was talking to my marketing guy, and he said, it's just about planning. And I said, well, I can plan, but you have to promise me if we do this, we're going to make it fun. He's like, I promise. So I said, let's come up with like the coolest shit anybody's ever seen in a launch. Let's do something super like outrageous. It'll get people's attention, but create learning in the process.
Yeah.
I never had so much fun planning anything. I think, why doesn't everybody launch? Everybody must launch. It's like a vehicle for creativity. Oh my gosh.
Launch is a vehicle for creativity. That's a good line that you need to keep using.
Honey, I use it all the time because most people think launch sounds like hell. It's a lot of moving pieces, and I do the big, the JV launches, so I've got all this stuff going on. But each piece has to be fun, because what happens if I don't have fun, and what happens if any of us don't have fun, we're just in the task of it. We're just being productive. And productive doesn't equal profits.
Yeah.
When you're doing things that you enjoy, when you land on the thing and you go, oh my gosh, this is going to be so cool to deliver, or I can't wait to make this product. My people are going to love it. Like, people are going to go crazy over it. You just now opened up all these resources in your brain, and like you opened yourself up to the universe to go co-create on your behalf. You start engaging with people like we are here, and we're just having fun. Like, nothing feels like work, and your best money-making ideas come when you're having fun.
Yeah, so for sure, and I totally agree with that. In the moment that, we're like being the business version of a Bridezilla, then we're not using that creative mind. So how do you keep yourself in the flow and the juice, like having your kids around? And I know you have some support with them and stuff, but like making sure you have that unbridled creativity zone that shows up during this period. And like, what's your best advice there in like continuing to show up for yourself? And there's also like a little bit of an emotional freak out that can happen initially when you're first doing this, of like, holy shit, am I really doing this? Like that disbelief. Like, do you have any tips or mindset tips around that, or practical things that you do and recommend?
Yeah, well, I think this happens for everybody, whether you have kids or not, but kids just kind of amplify it.
Yeah.
I don't have time. There's too much going on. I can't get to this. Oh my gosh, I'm so behind on this piece, and I've got this deadline. And I've just come to realize it's all going to get done if I don't push. Like, if, let's say my kids walk in, right? One's going to be home here shortly. But if it's at, let's say, 4 o'clock, I know that's the drop dead time. I got to like close up shop. It doesn't matter if I'm writing my best book ever. I got to walk away from the computer and just trust that the time and space will open up for me to come back. And it may not be for another day or two.
Yeah.
But if I trust that it will get done, that the creativity will come through, it will all get done. It will get done faster than anything you've ever seen. But I can't push to make it happen, because if I'm focused on pushing, first of all, that's when glitches happen. And 2, it stops the creativity. And shit just goes south when you're pushing for anything. I'm like this year during launch, I'm behind. Like, I'm creating a webinar right now. And I really should have had the webinar done before Christmas. So what? It's not happening. I chose to do other things. We went skiing for a week with the family. And my man was like, I bet you wish you hadn't gone to the slopes now. I said, no, I'm so glad we did. And this will get done. I just can't push to get it done. Like, when I'm tired at night, if I come back in the office to finish it up, if I feel tired, I gotta stop. Mm-hmm. Because if I push, I'll get sick. I won't have a good converting webinar, because I'm in my head and I'm trying to hurry. I'm just not coming from, my heart space.
Yeah. And so have you had times like where you felt you pushed and then you needed to show up anyway and maybe ditch the notes or half-written notes and just give from your heart? Like, have you had moments where you've had to really seriously course correct?
Oh my God, all the time. I had a freak out. When was it? Last week, first day of launch. I was like, oh my gosh, why did I schedule 4 hours of back-to-back calls? Because I had felt like, oh, well, everything's in place. It's all good. Like, there's so much going on during a launch. And my team was like, we need this, and we need this, and we need this. And I'm like, oh my God, and I got to cook dinner for the kids. And I thought, this is not the way to run a launch. This is not okay.
Yeah.
So I called my girlfriend and I said, I need to like just let it all out. And then you need to remind me that all is well, because this is not how I want to operate from this moment forward. Today is a failure. Not because nothing that happened in the launch, how I am being is not okay. This is not pleasurable. I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
And so we started talking about it. And it's like, it doesn't matter who's doing what breakdowns, technical stuff that has happened. I get to create my results, because it's really, when it all comes down to it, because I'm a law of attraction girl, it's all vibration. I'm responsible for my results. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter what happened. The whole internet could go down for days, and I could still have my end result if I stay in my pleasure zone over here. Like, I'm in my own bubble.
Yeah.
And I'm paying attention to how I'm feeling and how I'm reacting and how I'm behaving and what I'm, it's the whole thing. I got to focus what's going on here, not out here.
Yeah. So that brings me to want to ask you a little bit about how you sort of up and hack your own vibration to stay high no matter what's going on, and actually like maybe talk about a bit about your book, The 10-Minute Moneymakers, because that's a little bit about that. So can you tell us a little bit about your process of really just noticing, shit, my vibe's not exactly where I want it. I want to crank up the volume on it. Here's how I do it. What's your process? What do you recommend?
My biggest thing I like to do is like push away from the desk, get up, get out of the environment. Either go lay. I don't take naps, but I will just go lay down and breathe and like just draw. Like, none of this matters. What's most important right now? I'll talk to my inner guidance. That's like the best business partner in the whole wide world. I call it your inner business expert. And I just say, okay, what do I most need to focus on right now? I just keep my eyes closed and breathe, and then I'll get an answer and I'll go do it. Or I'll go for a walk. That's my other thing that I do. You just need to program interrupt. You need to like liven things up, get out of the whatever's going on in here, and just take a pause for the cause. I also have this a journal that I created that I use myself. So I'll go sit down and I'll journal and talk about what I'm appreciative of right now. What would be the coolest thing I can imagine today happening, and just kind of get into like what really matters most here.
Yeah.
This isn't a race. This isn't a race to get anywhere. What's most important is what I'm experiencing in this moment. So sometimes, and of course, that's what makes things happen quicker, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's the whole thing with making profits. Everybody comes to me and they're like, okay, show me exactly how to do this, Jeanna, because I want to make my 6 figures, or I want to make $1 million. And I said, okay, well, clearly based on how I'm seeing you right now, we need to do a few little mindset tweaks before I introduce any marketing tactics or strategies. And people are like, oh, I don't want to wait. I need the money now. I'm like, I get it. But you don't have to wait a long time to get the money. If we shift your energy, whatever strategy I tell you to do after this, it's going to be cupcakes. Yeah. It's going to be fast and easy. But if you don't push the pause button right now and just bring the energy back instead of having all this crazy stuff going on, it's like a whirlwind of like an octopus just going nuts. That's what your energy's like when you're like, I need money right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like energetically, it's as if you have like the hurricane is the like crazy person who's like just screwing things up everywhere, as opposed to the focused energy of like the tornado, like just like hit one spot, go. Except that's destructive. I meant it more in the other way, but so do you want to tell us a little bit about your 10 Minutes Moneymaker and the book that you have that where I'm going to share a link to in a minute?
Yeah, so we all think that usually we're going to have to do something amazing, or it's going to take a miracle to like make more money, or, we have the mortgage to pay and it's going to happen in 2 hours. We need to get the money. And so I just decided, you know what? It's really easy. What if I break it down into easy little things that people could implement in 10 minutes and actually get the flow going again? So sometimes, let's talk about just money vibration for a second.
Let's do it.
If you need, it feels like you need, I need the money now. It's going to be hard to get it. And sometimes we can't get our mindset there. I mean, you could hear the truth and go, I know everything's going to be okay, but I don't feel like it right now. So we need to take action, because action makes us feel more in control. Action is definite. I don't suggest going straight to action, but sometimes that's actually what we need to feel like, okay, we're doing something about it. We're not just sitting here passive.
Yeah.
And so, well, if you're going to go take an action, we might as well make it fun. So that's why I created the book, because there's these 14 easy actions. You just pick one. Pick the one that inspires you most. They take 10 minutes. You feel like you're doing something productive. It's easy. And then you trust. You wait to see what happens. You don't go, oh my God, that didn't work and I need the money now. Let me go hurry up and put another one in. That's not the way it works.
Yeah.
That's the pushing energy. We don't want the pushing energy. We're wanting to trust that what we've got going is enough.
Yeah.
So the book it does help you get into the mindset, but it also offers up these really important things that you can go create money real quick right now. And like I like to say, cash infusions are not the answer, but it sure does feel good to get that short-term cash coming in, and then you can go focus on long-term. But you don't want to have cash infusions as your mode of operation. I did that for years, and it's exhausting, and you never grow your business. You can grow it to a certain point, and then it will stop, and no matter what you do, it won't budge, because we're just, come on, what's the next thing? What's the next thing?
Yeah, that's that adrenaline stressful energy, right? Of just panic. So in terms of those in the book, the 10 money makers, there's some habits and things that you can do consistently as you bust through sort of the old habits and set points, right? And conquer the habit of having only cash infusions. Cash infusion, let's define it just being like a burst of money through whatever activity in one short-term moment, to have another part of you, the creative part of you that laid down, went for a walk, or did whatever to get creative around, okay, well, let's create a long-term sustainable plan with some relief and breathing room and support. So I'd love to hear, so before I forget, the URL to go get the book, if you can go to bit.ly/money-in10, and that's all together, and you can get access to Jeanna's book for free. So thank you so much for offering that, by the way. It's super generous.
Yeah.
And I'll put it on the video as well. So what was the number one decision that really helped you bust past some of these cycles that you described that you did earlier on in the business? What was the shift, the decision, action that you took that opened up the flood of possibilities that you've been experiencing?
It was stepping into my role as profitable CEO. Instead of thinking of myself as somebody trying to get somewhere, it was assuming the role as profitable CEO right now and making decisions based on, is this going to be profitable? Is this going to sustain me long term? Or is this another, one-hit wonder where I throw something out, I hope it works, and then I have to continue promoting it all the time? I didn't want that. I wanted something that was, I needed a new model that it wasn't the business model, although my business model changed as soon as I stepped into that role as profitable CEO. But it also, when I assumed the position, I felt I was good enough. Yeah. Instead of oh wait, I need to go learn that. I don't have that yet. I can't, if I don't figure this out. And it's I get to go hire mentors, but it's from a place of empowerment that's great, I need to go learn this. And I have what it takes to learn this and implement this. And I can have the same results as you because I'm attracted to you. And I want to buy the system that you're serving up.
Yeah. I love that. Profitable CEO, it's just stepping into that identity, that version of you that already existed in your life. You just hadn't become her yet. I call that being a change maker, and just like you bridge the gap between, you know, where you are and the change maker you're hoping to be, and deciding from that place. And initially it kind of feels like you're wearing somebody else's clothes, you know, the first little bit, right? So so you became a profitable CEO in yourself, in your soul, in your actions. You started to make decisions based on, is this going to nourish me personally, professionally, in the short and the long term? Yeah, I imagine you hired support at this time too.
Well, I think it's every time I want to up level anything, I always hire support. I feel like I can never afford it when I do it. And then, of course, your profit comes to meet you, because you're announcing, I'm a profitable CEO. I can afford to invest in this, because you're focused on long term. It's like, can I get to my end result if I don't do this? Mm-hmm. I know I need this person, like video production. There was a whole bunch of videos after I shot the first time, and it's thousands of dollars. And I thought, oh, there's a few more videos I want to do, but I could just do them on my iPhone. I said, Jeanna, are you focused on $1 million launch, or are you focused on just squeaking by because you don't want to pay any? I was like, oh, focus on the ROI.
Yeah.
What's the return on investment? How much do you want to invest? If you know what's on the other side is going to be so much more.
Yeah.
I always focused on a bigger number than I really wanted, which also helped. So like for my first launch, I thought, wow, if I made 50 grand, that'd be pretty cool. I'd be pretty excited about that. And I thought, that sounds doable. I thought, well, if that sounds doable, why don't I just go for what I really want, which is 6 figures. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but why wouldn't we shoot for 6 figures and design everything from the beginning, thinking, if this is going to be a 6-figure launch, what would we do? How would we react right now? What would we invest in? How would we do this? Because instantly I stopped trying to wing it and I start being more professional. Like, let me go pro. Don't be in scarcity. Don't try to just get away with something like, oh, what's the lazy way to do it? It's like, no, I know it in my heart. I know what would be best, and we got to do it.
Yeah.
Like, don't be a slacker, Jeanna. Don't be like, because, you know, I like, that's good enough. It's like, no, it's not, and you know it.
Yeah. So go pro and take yourself seriously enough to do it the way that feels like you're stretching yourself every single time. So yeah, I love that you play with yourself in terms of becoming the version of you that, you know, you're evolving into, and you're growing into the business that you're growing into, like so, and to the person who can run it. I do want to ask you one last little question about becoming that version of you that doesn't quite exist yet. So if you had some no bullshit advice that were to come from the future version of yourself, the person of you that exists in your life, but she's maybe 10, 20 years older than you, she's already done everything. What do you think she would come in and tell you if she were to just like walk into your office, sit on that chair that's behind you, and just say, hey, by the way, Jeanna, like, here's what I've got for you. Some no bullshit advice that she would have for you now.
I think it's probably the same advice she would give me if it was just even a year down the road, which is, it's all good. It's all good. Like, it's all working out. Well, doesn't need to be any drama about anything. Like, who cares? Like, everything's no big deal. Just enjoy it. Have fun with it.
Just enjoy it. Just have fun with it. Relax. Let go of whatever is making you feel crazy, basically, and just.
Or we just put. I do it. That's why I'm saying it. We all put importance on these things, right? Like, this is so important, and no, it's not. No, it's not. None of it's important. All is well. You're gonna get everything you want in the long run. So
yeah,
kick back. Take a chill pill.
Take a chill pill. Trust. Have some fun. Awesome. Okay, well, so I know that you've got lots going on, but the best place to get started is really just to check out the 10-minute money makers. And it's all about how to easily double your profits in about 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day. Like, I've got 10 minutes a day. I'm sure everybody here watching can find 10 minutes. Do these 10 minutes have to be 10 minutes that come together?
It's best, because what happens is when we create no matter what we're doing, if we're not being fragmented with our focus, it's like super energizing to the project that we're on. So yeah, 10 minutes, get off Facebook for 10 minutes, go work on your business. It'll feel good and you'll feel like a rock star.
Okay. I love that. So thank you so much. Yeah, feeling like a rock star. So you can go to bit.ly/moneyin10 And you can find so much more of Jeanna. Her brand, you'll see, like, this is the version of Jeanna that you'll fall in love with. She's fun, she's real, she's raw, and also just full of good golden nuggets. So thank you so much for sharing your stories and your time with us today. And I'm really looking forward to see what else you create in the coming little while. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and for everybody, so be sure to grab Jeanna's book at bit.ly/money-in-10 and take some actions. You know, this is great that we're talking about this. If you were inspired by this conversation, there's a reason for it. If somebody's name came through your mind as you were listening to this, there's a reason for it. You got to take some freaking inspired action and put your money where your mouth is, where your inspiration is. So share it with that person. Sign up, get that book, and carve out 10 minutes a day. Stick it in your calendar. Just do something, because window shopping, whatever it is that you want, your dreams, ain't gonna give you what you want on the other side of that storefront. Just take some action, do it with love, do it for yourself, do it for the profitable CEO, the change maker that you're growing into. She deserves to show up and be part of your life now. So thanks, Jeanna, and best success with this adventure, this fun, profitable, fun adventure of launching and sharing your gift with the world.